10 psychological tricks that will make him desire you. The truth is, you do not make a man desire you by chasing him harder. You do not make him want you more by explaining your feelings over and over, answering every message immediately, forgiving everything too quickly, or making him the center of your entire emotional world. In fact, that is usually where desire starts to disappear, because desire needs space. It needs curiosity. It needs emotional tension. It needs the feeling that you are a woman with depth, standards, and a life that does not stop just because a man gave you attention. Many women lose power the moment they start liking someone. They become too available, too predictable, too easy to read. They give too much, hoping he will finally see their value. But the mind does not chase what feels guaranteed. The mind becomes attached to what feels meaningful, rare, and not fully conquered. And this is not about playing games. This is not about being cold, fake, or manipulative. This is about understanding attraction with emotional intelligence. A truly desirable woman does not beg to be chosen. She does not perform for attention. She does not abandon herself just to keep a man interested. She knows how to be warm without being desperate, soft without being weak, present without being overly available, interested without losing control of herself. And when a man feels that kind of energy, something changes. He starts wondering about her. He starts paying closer attention. He starts feeling that being near her is not something casual, but something he has to value. In this video, you will discover 10 psychological tricks that can make him desire you in a deeper way, without looking vulgar, needy, or desperate. And the first trick is one of the most powerful, because it changes the way he experiences your presence. It is called the incomplete presence. The incomplete presence. If you want him to desire you, stop giving him full access to every part of you too soon. This is where many women lose the mystery without noticing. The moment they like a man, they start revealing everything, every detail of their day, every insecurity, every wound from the past, every emotion they are feeling, every fear they have about losing him. And at first, it may feel like connection, but when you give too much too fast, you can accidentally remove the curiosity that makes him want to come closer. An incomplete presence does not mean being fake. It does not mean pretending. It means you allow him to discover you slowly. You are not a page he gets to read in one night. You are a book with chapters, depth, silence, history, softness, strength, and parts that need to be earned. That is what makes a woman unforgettable. When he feels there is still more to know about you, his mind stays active. He wonders. He imagines. He pays attention. He starts connecting your presence with curiosity. And curiosity is one of the strongest doors to desire. So do not explain everything immediately. Do not answer every question with your whole life story. Do not turn every conversation into an emotional confession. Sometimes, a simple smile and a calm answer is more powerful than a long explanation. You can say just enough to make him interested, but not so much that he feels he already owns access to your entire inner world. Be warm, but not completely available. Be open, but not easily consumed. Be kind, but still private. Let him feel your presence, but let him understand that knowing you fully is a privilege, not a free gift. Because the woman who reveals everything too soon becomes familiar too fast. But the woman who reveals herself with timing becomes a thought he keeps returning to. The emotional contrast. If you are always the same, always available, always sweet, always intense, always waiting, always answering, always giving, he starts to get used to you. And when someone gets used to your energy, they stop feeling the impact of it. This is why emotional contrast is so powerful. A woman who creates desire is not flat. She is not one-dimensional. She has layers. She can be soft, but she also has limits. She can be affectionate, but she still has her own life. She can enjoy his attention, but she does not collapse when he gives less of it. That contrast makes him pay attention, because the brain notices what changes. If you are always chasing, he relaxes. If you are always explaining, he stops wondering. If you are always available, he stops valuing your time. But when you know how to move between warmth and distance, softness and firmness, interest and self-control, he begins to feel something different around you. He cannot fully predict you, and that is not manipulation. That is emotional maturity. One day, you are playful and light. Another day, you are focused on your own goals. Sometimes you give him your full attention. Other times, you are busy building your own life. Sometimes you are sweet. Other times you are quiet, because not every moment deserves your emotional energy. This makes your presence feel alive. The mistake is thinking that being desirable means being constantly available, constantly nice, constantly understanding. But too much predictability can kill desire. A woman with emotional contrast does not become cold. She becomes balanced. She lets him feel her warmth, but she also lets him feel that her world does not depend on him. And when a man realizes that your energy is beautiful, but not guaranteed, he starts to value it differently, because what is always available becomes common, but what has rhythm, depth, and limits becomes magnetic. The subtle tension. Desire does not begin in the body, it begins in the mind. This is why a woman does not need to be vulgar to be unforgettable. She does not need to expose too much, force sensuality, or act in a way that feels unnatural just to get a man's attention. The most powerful kind of attraction is subtle. It is in the way you look at him for 1 second longer, then look away calmly. It is in the way you speak with confidence, without rushing. It is in the way you carry yourself as if you are comfortable in your own skin, but not desperate to be noticed. That kind of energy creates tension, and tension is what makes desire grow. Many women think they need to say more, show more, do more. But sometimes, less creates more impact. A pause can be more attractive than a speech. A calm smile can be more powerful than trying to impress. A soft voice, a confident posture, and a controlled silence can make him feel something without you having to explain anything. This is not about being inappropriate. It is about presence. A desirable woman knows how to create a feeling without making herself look desperate for validation. She understands that real sensuality is not about giving access. It is about energy, timing, confidence, and self-respect. And here is the important part. Subtle tension only works when it is mutual, respectful, and natural. You should never force closeness with someone who does not respect your boundaries. The goal is not to perform for him. The goal is to let your confidence speak before your words do. When you are comfortable with yourself, he feels it. When you do not rush to impress him, he notices it. When you allow attraction to build slowly, instead of handing him everything at once, he starts to feel the pull. Because vulgarity screams for attention. But subtle tension makes him lean in. The unpredictable reward. If your attention is available every second, it stops feeling special. This is one of the most important things to understand about desire. When a man knows that you will always answer, always forgive, always adjust your schedule, always accept the minimum, and always be there no matter how little effort he gives, your presence starts to feel guaranteed. And what feels guaranteed is often taken for granted. The unpredictable reward is not about playing games. It is not about disappearing to punish him. It is not about acting cold just to make him nervous. It is about making sure your attention has value. A woman who understands this does not jump every time he sends a message. She does not abandon her routine because he suddenly wants to talk. She does not cancel her peace just because he decided to appear after being inconsistent. She responds when she can. She gives attention when it feels good. She shows affection when there is respect. She opens her energy when his actions deserve access to it. And that changes everything. Because now, He cannot treat her presence like something cheap. He begins to understand that being close to her is not automatic. It is connected to effort, respect, timing, and emotional consistency. This makes him pay closer attention to how he shows up. When you give too much to a man who gives too little, you train him to expect benefits without responsibility. But when your energy has standards, he learns that access to you is connected to the way he treats you. That is when desire becomes stronger, because he feels that you are not someone he can have with no effort. You are not being difficult. You are being valuable. You are not withholding love. You are protecting your energy. Because attention that is always available becomes background noise. But attention that is given with intention becomes something he wants to earn again. The desirable identity. The strongest psychological trick is not something you do to him. It is who you become when you stop making him the center of your world. A desirable woman has an identity outside of the man she likes. She has dreams, routines, interests, standards, friendships, goals, and a life that continues even when he is not giving her attention. And that is powerful. Because when a man feels that your happiness depends entirely on him, the emotional weight becomes heavy. But when he sees that you enjoy him without needing him to complete you, your energy becomes lighter, stronger, and more attractive. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself first. You take care of your appearance because it makes you feel confident. You protect your peace because your mind matters. You build your life because your future is not on pause for anyone. And this changes the way he sees you. He starts to understand that being with you is not a favor he gives. It is an opportunity he can lose. That is where desire becomes deeper. Because a woman with identity does not beg. She does not compete. She does not shrink herself to fit into a man's attention span. She becomes the kind of woman he can feel, admire, and remember. And when you become that woman, you do not need to force desire. You naturally awaken it. Now you know the truth. Desire is not created by chasing harder. It is created when your presence has value, depth, mystery, confidence, and emotional control. A man can be attracted to your beauty, but he becomes truly pulled toward your energy. That is why you must stop acting like your job is to convince him to want you. Your job is to remember who you are before you start giving your power away. Do not become the woman who waits all day for one message. Do not become the woman who explains her worth to someone who is not showing effort. Do not become the woman who gives full access to a man who only gives half attention. Become the woman who is warm, but not desperate, loving, but not blind, present, but not always available, interested, but never disconnected from herself. Because when you stop begging for desire, you start becoming the kind of woman who naturally creates it. And if this opened your eyes, stay close, because in the next video, I will show you the silent mistake that makes a man lose interest, even when he was attracted to you in the beginning.